Shalom, shalom, shalom. What's up, everybody? How are we doing tonight? What's up? I see Twitch is in. What's up, Nightlinks? What's up, J Delta? What's up, PC Wizard? Dawn, Colonel, Devil, how you guys doing? Shalom. Let's check the YouTube stream, make sure we're actually up. Kip's here. What's up, Kip? Hey, there's nothing wrong with being behind. At least you're studying. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. What's up? You got your C sent last Friday? Nice. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. What's up? Namsek, what's up, man? Thanks for dropping in, dude. Thanks for the sub as well, sir. It looks like we are going to be on Twitch only tonight. Twitch only, because it doesn't look like YouTube's going to cooperate, which is fine. So, Twitch only. Far advanced, thank you, thank you. Oh, look at the subs coming through. Namsek, thanks, sir. Thank you, thank you. Yes, I did shave. YouTube stream is down. Twitch only tonight. Sorry, people. All right, guys. He's pumping them out, man. What are we hacking? So tonight we are trying to pretend like we know what we're talking about when it comes to web app testing. So we'll see how it goes. I did find my wedding ring, actually. All right, I'm gonna switch over and we're gonna go ahead and just go to screen. Welcome to web app testing week 4, my people. So week 4, what are we gonna be talking about? Well, you'll find out here in just a second. So again, we're gonna do some announcements, 5 to 10 minutes, probably on the 5-minute side, if we're being honest. We'll say 5 minutes and then we'll continue on. So from here, let's go ahead and go next. Somebody said that the Discord link isn't working. Do that. If that link's not working, I don't know why it would be expired. I just checked it a couple minutes ago, actually. So, okay. So again, no class a week from today or a week after a week from today. So 2 weeks from today, we are going to have no class. We will resume episode 5 on 9/25. 9/25. So we may do a stream on the 18th. We will not be doing a stream on the 11th. I will not have time to prep on the 18th for anything that would be worthy of you fine people. So because of that, I don't want to put material out there. We talked about it last week, just throwing it out again in case some of you weren't there. Just want to make sure that you're aware. No, nothing on the 11th or on the 18th. So upcoming talks, I've got some local talks on the 13th and the 17th at a couple of colleges nearby. If you're in North Carolina and attend college, maybe you'll be there. Otherwise, Upcoming talks, as you can see my schedule here. So if you want to come hang out, come see me. I'll be bringing stickers, give some stickers out, hang out, you know, good old deal. B-Sides Charlotte, B-Sides Raleigh, Wild West Hackenfest, and B-Sides Charleston in that order. So we'll be rolling with that. 3 of those are on Active Directory pen testing. One of those is on a non-technical on being a cybersecurity mentor. So hope to see you guys out in some of these. Moving forward, Patreon, thank you. It is the first of the month, or at least for me, first stream of the month. And I owe you guys some thank yous. Thank you, James, Kermit, Hugo, William, David, and Lane for being the $15 tier higher. You guys are really awesome. Thank you to all the other Patreon as well. I think there's 30-something of you. It's amazing. You guys really do help go a long way for the channel, for creating great content and just, you know, delivering back to the community. So thank you so much for helping out. Okay, let's talk about quickly what we're going to learn today. So we're going to talk about cross-site scripting again, 3 weeks in a row, stored again, but this time we're going to do it through an API. Ooh, right? So we haven't done API cross-site scripting yet. We'll do that. We're also going to be covering XXE, XML external entities. So we'll talk about that in way more detail, and then I'll throw you some links of people who do it better than I do. So we'll talk about those as well, but we'll be hacking all the entities. And we'll be talking again about broken access control. This is the second time we'll be talking about this. We'll be forging lots of stuff due to some broken access. And you can see I've started notating that what part of the OWASP top 10 these are on. We'll be covering all the OWASP top 10 at some point or another. We'll also be talking about input validation, and we'll be actually using an example of an admin account takeover that I have seen in the real world during a pen test. So I will show you what this looks like, and it's fascinating going through this because I have seen this happen before. So it is very realistic. And then we'll talk about broken anti-automation. So we'll talk about defeating CAPTCHAs one repeater request at a time. Okay, so somebody asked, are we still in Juice Shop? We are always in Juice Shop, my friends. And YouTube is down for my YouTube people. YouTube is down. Okay, so this is what is XXE. We're not quite there yet. Let's go ahead and dive in. Let's jump into our machine. So get into a Kali machine. All I've done so far is that I have started Burp Community, right? So Burp Community is up. I've set 2 targets. Now I asked you guys to create a local host target via email. If you are not on the mailing list, you're not in the Discord channel, you missed this email. But in order to do XXE, we have to have it locally. We're not gonna get XXE off of a Heroku instance. So what we're going to do is we're going to exploit XXE on this local host. So I have 2 instances running, one via the Heroku app and then one via localhost. So we'll focus most of our attacks on Juice Shop via the Heroku. But if you are following along and you're on the emails or the Discord channel, then localhost as well. Okay, so other than that, we are at a scoreboard. We've got the scoreboard up and should be pretty much cleared out. I've got just the one for finding the scoreboard. So we've got about, I want to say 11 or 12 that I picked out of this list that we're going to go through. Some of these we're not going to go through because I thought they were kind of either cheesy or that they just really weren't uber realistic or super repetitive. You know, so I skipped some of these. Now, if you want to go back and read through some of these, you're more than welcome. But in reality, we're going to skip a few of these and just focus on the ones that I thought were important and realistic. So I've, again, ordered these strategically as best as I can. And we're going to start tonight right from the top. So we're actually going to start with the admin registration, then we'll kind of bounce around. So the first one is going to be admin registration, and this is going to be input validation. So with input validation, you're going to see when we try to register for a user, what kind of response comes back from the API, and what can we do with that response. So let's go ahead, since we are on a fresh instance, since our Heroku restarts itself, let's go ahead and get a new account registered, okay? So let's register an account. So we'll come down here to not yet a customer. And we'll say whatever we want to call it. Okay, and then we're going to register this. Okay, so we registered. Let's see if it's come through at all in the API. So in the API, there's a registration for the users. You can kind of see what happened here. Now, we could have intercepted this request, but here's the request that actually came through the API. So the API is going, and it's going and saying, hey, I want you to register this user. And the response is going to come back and say, okay, well, success, we did register that user. Here's the username. Is the user an admin? What's the last login, profile image, etc. So depending on which one you do this in, you might see is admin, is admin, or you might actually see something a little different. So you might see the word role instead of is admin. This newer version of OWASP Bootstrap that they just released, it's slightly different look, different feel, this 9.0.1. So, hey, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. So with this response, we can actually take this request and let's send it to repeater. And if we were to send this again, it's going to say there's an error, right? Because the emails must be unique. So what's happening here? Let's just go ahead and make a new user. We'll just say test1 with these parameters, right? And let's just send it over again. And now you can see that we changed the email address and this works fine. It really doesn't care about any of this information, if we're being honest. But if you could see here in the data that it's coming through with, it doesn't have a username because we set a username later in the application. So by default, it's just blank. It says, hey, is this person an admin? And it says false. Okay, it's got an IP address, profile image. Is it active? It registers us to an ID. And then it takes our email, what time we updated it at, and are we deleted? Okay. So what if we finagle this a bit? What if we make this maybe like test2, and in here we throw something like, we say is admin, and then we go something like true, and then just put a comma there. And what are you guys doing? Error handling? Okay, so let's send it through and see what happens. Okay, so we said, we sent the data over. It's success again. And if you see is admin is true, and you can see the registration came through as get registered an admin user. So I have seen this. I've seen this before. I, honest to God, saw this before within the last year and we missed it originally. This is why a checklist is so important, is because having a checklist, you might miss something, or without a checklist, you might miss something. With the OWASP checklist that I provided you guys in episode 1, this is the situation we were in. We were testing the application. We had found some things, but nothing crazy. And then there was this registration account, and we noticed in the API that it was saying something along the lines of is admin false, or admin 0, or something along those lines, right? So if you set that trigger to 1 or to true, and then you register the account, it made you an admin. And this was for a very, very large application. So you do see these things from time to time. So bad security practice and very realistic. So this is why I kind of wanted to lead with this first. Now we can take this user, or we could take even our original user. Are we logged in? We haven't logged in yet. So we can go and say test at test.com and then test 1, 2, 3, and then just log in here. Okay, and if you remember from the last time, you could see that we had an admin page. So if we come over to the administration, and maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. See if we can get over to that. We might have to copy and paste it. Let's see what's going on. Maybe there's no pound sign there. Maybe I'm dumb. Oh, I know what it is. We don't have admin. We don't have admin access, so we're gonna get redirected. I'm dumb. Yeah, test2 was the admin account, so we can confirm test2 at test.com. Thank you. And somebody just donated. It looks like I don't have alerts on. Let me check. Oh, Devil Dog, thank you. $50 donation. Thank you. That is incredible, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, buddy. Okay, administration here. And let's try it again. Not working, hates us. Try that. One more time. There we go. Don't be like me. Thank you, Dong. I appreciate it, man. Okay, we've accessed the admin section of the store, which was an old challenge, right? Are the directories case sensitive? Might be. I'm not sure. J Delta's the best. Heath is cool. Why are you guys in my stuff, man? You guys are funny. I actually don't care if you're in here. So yeah, we've made an admin account with this test too. So very, very good job. Thank you. Thank you. Does not give AF. I appreciate the sub too. Thank you so much, everybody. So all right, we've got the administration account. You guys are funny. I love it. All right, let's talk about some things that we can do while we're logged in. So let's go over to the contact part, right? So let's go to this complaint. Actually, let's go to the customer feedback. I'm sorry. And before we do anything, let's just right click. And we'll do a inspect element. Okay, and in here, if we take a look, we can look at the GET request under the network settings. Actually, let's refresh this whole page. There we go. So you should be seeing all this stuff in here, right? Let's look at the actual REST here and look at the CAPTCHA settings. So if we look through here, we can look at the GET request. And let's see if we could find it somewhere in the response. Okay, so you can see that through the response, it says, what's 1 plus 2 minus 8? Well, the answer is -5. So it's going to give us the answer here. This is what it's looking for. So we already know ahead of time the answer. We could solve this CAPTCHA. So that's one thing, right? Let's just say, let's tell them they suck. You suck. And before we do this, two things actually. One thing I'm pointing out, because we haven't really used Burp Suite yet. So if we come through and we go on to proxy intercept, make sure when you're intercepting, come into your settings first. And scroll all the way down, network proxy. In here, it typically says no proxy for local host. If you're going to be doing the local host later, make sure that you have that removed as a setting preference, or else you will not be able to intercept anything. How common are the things on this site seen? For some of the lower level stuff, it hasn't been incredibly common. But as we start moving up, I think we're in like the medium or moderate challenges right now. As we start moving up, things are going to become more common, at least in my opinion. Okay, so let's intercept this here. Let's turn our intercept on. We'll submit this request. And now we've got a nice intercept. And what's happening here? Okay, we've got our user ID, we've got a CAPTCHA ID, and our CAPTCHA total, the rating we gave them, and the comment we gave them. So if we go ahead and we just right click and send this over to repeater, now we could push this through, just turn the intercept off, and in theory, this CAPTCHA now should be eliminated, right? the CAPTCHA that we just used should be gone. Now, if we hit send, look what happens. We actually hit success, right? Status success. So it is taking the old CAPTCHA and allowing us to submit it with the CAPTCHA ID. It knows the CAPTCHA ID is 4. Tied to ID of 4 is -5. So as long as we supply the correct parameters here, we're going to bypass the CAPTCHA settings. So if we go to the scoreboard, and the scoreboard says one of the challenges being to submit 10 or more customer feedbacks within 10 seconds. Well, how are you going to do that if you have to solve a CAPTCHA? You're not going to. But if you can bypass the anti-automation, which is supposed to be so we can't do brute forcing like this, you'll notice that we just solved it. So anti-automation and CAPTCHAs are in place so that we can't do brute forcing attacks like this, right? You see this commonly when you're doing like credential stuffing or password spraying, and you start trying to log into an application and you start failing with passwords incorrect, right? And then you get a CAPTCHA, or you get one of those, hey, verify you're not a robot, and this is what it's trying to do. It's trying to stop you from doing automated attacks. Well, in this instance, it's not a very good system that's been implemented. They're just paired values to their keys, and they relate right in the back end. So we know exactly that ID 4 is tied to -5. We're able to submit that over and over and over again with success. And we probably just submitted to whoever's email that they suck quite a million times. So, all right, that's 2 knocked out of the way. Now this what we just did here falls under anti-automation. We're going to go ahead and start taking a look into broken access control. Once we are done with broken access control, we'll move back into input validation. So just so you guys are staying on track with what we are doing, input validation was the first one, right? It was not verifying that we were who we said we were when we said, hey, our role is an admin. Now we just broke automation or anti-automation by automating this CAPTCHA process, right? And we could have wrote a script for this, done the same thing, but it's just so easy to send a button and repeater and just make it do it over and over. And then let's be honest, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. Thank you. Right, so this should only be good for one attempt, and it's not good for one attempt, it's good for multiple. Okay, so let's look at broken access tier 2. We've done tier 1. Let's go to the scoreboard. I'm already on it, actually. And let's see what the tier 2 says. Or basket access, I'm sorry. Access, can't speak tonight. Put an additional product into another user's basket. Okay, let's take a look at how we can do this. And let's go into our basket. Let's see if we have anything in our basket. Okay, nothing in the basket. Let's go to the home screen. And let's take a product. We'll take like this fruit press down here and we'll just add it. Okay, we put it in our basket. So let's take a look at our basket here. And we can add a quantity pretty easily. Now we've got 2 in there. When we do the decrease in quantity, note also that nothing happens here, right? You can't go below 1, and that's a whole nother challenge that we're about to get to in a second. So we added a product. Let's add another product, and let's actually intercept this request this time. We'll do some lemon juice. Forward this one. Okay, here we go. Let's send this over to repeater. So our basket ID right now is basket 7. And our product ID is 5. So whatever this lemon juice is product 5. Now, quantity is 1. We're only adding 1 to the cart. So in theory, what you would say here, if you remember the attack from the first time, we went to the basket and we said the basket was, let's turn this intercept off. We said the basket was, our basket, but we were able to view somebody else's at basket 2. Remember? One of the earlier challenges, we looked at the BID and determined that was basket ID, not bid. So if that tracks your memory, we come back to repeater, you might just say, well, okay, let's just change it to 2 and see if that works. And it says error invalid basket ID. Okay, let's change it back to 7. and it says, okay, validation error here. The basket ID must be unique. Our basket ID is not unique. That's fine. So if we refresh, what do we got going on? Okay, still 2 products. What if, though, if we go and we actually take a look at, let's do the view or inspect element, and we'll go to storage. Remember under, it was either session, session storage, our value is 7 for our basket. Remember, if we change it to 2, we can see somebody else's. Okay, so there's some raspberry juice in here now. And if we change the basket ID to 2, it knows that it's not our basket, right? So we send it, or 3, or whatever. It has to be 7. 7's the one where we don't get the error. Even though we're airing out, we're not worried about that right now. We're getting a validation error. That's okay. So what we can do is we could pick another product, like say product 8, and we could try to send this over to a second basket and maybe bypass it this way. And following the syntax here, let's try to send it over to 2 and see what happens. And it says success. We sent it over. Product ID 8 to basket 2. Well, what just happened? And if we refresh, does it have a new product in this basket? It does. Cool, we put a girly shirt in there. Nice. So we just took a product ID, and what it's doing is it's taking the last value here. It's taking this, right? It's taking this basket ID and saying, okay, this is right. We'll put quantity 1, but then it says, wait, no. Do quantity or basket ID of 2 and put it in there instead. So it validates that the basket's correct. And then before we finish this request here, this post request, we come through and say, never mind, go ahead and put this different basket ID in and send it to that one instead. And there's no validation here on this second request. There's no validation at all. So because it's not validating this, we're able to bypass. And this is, again, broken access control. We're bypassing access where we shouldn't be doing this. So these are just bad checks, right? Bad checks and balances going on in the back end. And you're gonna see a little bit of that. Same thing here when we talk about, let's go back to our basket. Let's view it at 7 again. And let's refresh this page. Okay, we got the fruit press. Let's have 2 fruit presses. So one of our challenges is to make ourselves very rich. I don't know the actual terms of it, but if we look at the scoreboard and we come into here, it says something along the lines of making yourself rich. Yep, place an order that makes you rich. Okay, so we know it's about placing an order. So in our basket, we go here to check out, place an order. Well, how are we gonna make ourselves rich? We have to have some sort of negative number, right? So, well, we already talked about this quantity here, and when we try to do quantity -1, or less than 1, it's actually having a good check and balance here. It's saying you can't do quantity less than 1. You can go up as many as you want, but you can't go down. So let's take a look at what that request looks like. Let's turn the intercept on and just intercept that request when we remove the quantity down one. Let's forward that, forward it. Let's look for the API here. Okay, quantity 1. So let's send this again to the repeater. And we're looking at this, and we can see here that, okay, well, how are we going to do this? Okay, so how about we just try changing this to a -1 in quantity and seeing if it works. And it says success. Let's see if it actually does it. Think I have my proxy still on? I do. Okay, let's try it one more time. I think that request came through after mine did. Let's try it now. Look, we're at -89.99. We could do 100. And it's still getting, you can see here, it's still getting the success at a quantity -100. It's updating this product in our basket. Look, and there's $9,000 for us. Thank you very much. So this is another way. And this here, this isn't broken access. This actually would fall under input validation. it should be validating when we're submitting this, that we're submitting this basket and that the quantity is greater than or equal to 1, right? So we shouldn't be able to submit anything with a negative number or even 0 because we can't purchase 0 of anything. So here again, it has failed in the sense that we should be doing our checks and balances, input validation here, and it's just not doing it. So you're gonna see a lot of that tonight of just, hey, you should be checking this. Logically, this is broken. Okay, so just a couple more. I'm gonna take a quick drink real quick, and then we're gonna go back into broken access control, and then we're gonna dive into, we'll do cross-site scripting, and then we'll get into XXE. Okay, there's two that are very similar. So if we go to our scoreboard, and let's close out of this one here. All right. So we want to do a forged feedback. That's one of these here somewhere. Forged feedback and forged review. We haven't done these yet. So we want to leave some feedback in another user's name. So let's go back to the home page. And in the home page, if we go onto the cart here, we can actually leave reviews, right? Sorry, if you click on the item, you can actually leave reviews. Hey, somebody said Heath is super cool. Thanks. You guys are so nice. Okay. So we can say, okay, this says one of my favorites. And we could just say something like, I lied. This product sucks. Okay. Now, how are we actually submitting this? Like, how does it know that it's us, right? So let's go ahead and try to intercept this request and see what's going on in the back end. And we'll submit it. Come over here, let's forward out of the socket. And it's putting an author in here, right? So we get to select who the author is. So if we come back into the product and I screwed up, let me grab the username. So we can just flip this, and the user was the admin user. So we just say admin at juice-sh.op. And let's send this to repeater to be safe. I always like to send my stuff to repeater, even if it works. We'll turn the rest of the intercepts off, and let's click back in here and see what it says. You guys are so nice. Thanks, guys. I lied. This product sucks. So we here now put in our admin review as somebody else, right? So because of that, we go to our scoreboard. And we have solved the issue. So we're good. Second one, we need to post feedback in another user's name. Is that comment poor sanitization? Yeah, I would say so. Poor filtering, right? So, okay, we got to post a comment in somebody else's name. Let's go ahead and let's go to complaints here. And actually, we're going to give some feedback, right? So we're going to give some feedback in another person's name. Let's see what we can do. Let's give it the old test here. We can solve this. 9, 18, 27 plus 2 is 29. Okay, and then let's inspect this element and see. I don't remember if it's the contact us or if it's the other one. We'll find out here very shortly. I think it might be the other one. Let's take a look at the complaint page while we're at it. This is what happens when you don't take the best of notes. Okay, let's look at the complain. We'll do a test here and inspect this element as well. Yes. This isn't it. I think it's the other one. I think we just need to scroll up a little bit. Here it is, right here. I was looking for the user ID, and I completely skipped over. I went down too far. You see this here, where we're submitting a feedback form. The input is taking a user ID, and it's hidden. We can get rid of this hidden right here. And you can see now that a user ID is actually in here. So if we wanted to submit this as a different user, all we have to do is just change that number. And then we could submit a rating and hit submit. And that will do it. So again, this stems back to week 2, where we talked about this in week 2, right? Where we said very realistic situations. Even within the last 2 or 3 weeks, I have seen this issue happen. Not as dirty as this, but definitely where I showed you guys, we typed up the password examples where you see passwords like hidden, something like this, and then you view the field and you just change it from password to text and you get to view the whole thing. Very, very common, still very realistic, and I see it all the time. So it's always worth your while to actually inspect your elements and make sure that you can't do some UI bypassing right here in the DOM, right? So we never have to, we're not hitting server side with this or anything, not until we submit, but on this page, we're able to just modify things. Now the chances that they're actually running something like this, probably pretty low, but this is just to the point of, remember when we searched, we did the active scan in Burp Suite and we didn't come up with anything really. And all these little flaws that we're finding are just more and more proof that manual inspection is so, so important, right? So inspecting every little thing that you can do. Super important. Okay, so that also, both of those that we just did fell under broken access control. So that is number 5, again, number 5 on the OWASP top 10. We check our scoreboard, make sure we are still Gucci. We should be good on both of those. Okay, so we have forged feedback and forged review. So let's talk about cross-site scripting really quick, and then we're going to get into input validation for the rest of the night and XXE and call it quits. So we have 2 challenges here for cross-site scripting. They are similar in the way that you're going to exploit them. So in this instance, I'm going to show you one and then challenge you to find the other one. This is going to be your homework. So we're going to do one here, bypassing client-side security mechanism. The XSS tier 3, it says not to use the front-end application at all. The way we're going to do it here with tier 2, you can use tier 3 as well to exploit it very similarly. So I will leave that challenge for you. If you get stuck, feel free to look at the GitHub and solve it on your own. So let's go ahead and just copy this because it always gives us how we're actually going to do this, right? We're doing an iframe SRC. Let's copy that. And now the way that we're going to attack this is through an API. And I'm just going to go ahead and skip right to it and show you. And this is super important, honestly, because this just shows you another place that we can actually inject items. So if we come back to our initial repeater request with the API users and we're submitting a new user, this is where it can get bad, right? What if we come to here and we paste this in? And we've got this iframe SRC, and now we're trying to exploit this. Now, if we go back and we look and we say, if we logged out, for example, and we go to log in and we try to submit this here, we say test, log in. Okay, can't do it, not a customer. What if we try to register with that? You're gonna see it says invalid email address. Okay, maybe I can trick it. We'll say at heath.com. Can't trick it. We got to get rid of all this junk that's in here that it knows doesn't belong. So it's doing some filtering here, right? And making sure that we can't submit characters that we shouldn't. So because of that, it doesn't mean that just because it's protecting it here, doesn't mean that we're actually protecting it server side. It just means that here on the front end, it has some client protections, right? So what we're doing is we're going to take that and instead we're going to give it a go on the API side of things. So we need to do a little bit of character escaping. I'm just going to put into backslashes here. So if you look at this, make sure, because we're doing this, and if you've never seen a escape before like this, we're doing this because we've got the quotations. We're telling it, hey, ignore this quotation here. Otherwise, this would be the whole payload that it's sending, and then this would be a bunch of mumbled junk. Okay, so make sure you add your character escapes here. These single quotes are fine. Okay, so now let's go ahead and try to send that request. And you can see that we successfully solved the challenge. Now this is a pretty nasty one. We could be much more malicious with this than what we are. But if we logged back into the account, and we said administration up here, you see we have stored cross-site scripting. This is very, very stored. And you come down here, you see the iframe, right? So we have, and all the use sucks that I sent. We have the iframe here. We could be much more malicious with this where we wouldn't show anything and we wouldn't do an alert pop up, but we could do something like a beef hook or something where we steal cookies and try to send them off somewhere else. So the you suck was actually me on the reviews, so I'm not too salty about that one. Okay, so we have completed now all the broken access control, all the anti-automation, all the cross-site scripting. Okay, we have done half of the input validation. Now we're going to go into the second half of the input validation and into the fun stuff, because a lot of this is just review or building upon what we've already done. I'm actually excited for the XXE because that's something we've never talked about yet. So let's go ahead and go over to the Contact Us complaint section. Okay. And if you recall from last time, we were able to submit an XML file. And we can do it again. We were able to bypass, right? We go to browse. In the rules, the legacy rules, it used to be that they could submit XML files. Maybe they realized, hey, that's not such a good idea, and decided, hey, let's not allow that to be a thing anymore, right? So let's go to all files. We'll try to upload this test.xml. It should say, hey, that's deprecated, right? So we used a deprecated interface that wasn't properly shut down. Perfect. Okay, how can we exploit this? Well, we'll talk about the XML part here in just a little bit. Now, earlier in the chat, I sent out in the Discord channel a 100 kilobyte or greater than file. If we try to upload that, we go to downloads, and I called it over100.pdf. Okay, and we try to submit this. You see that it says maximum of 100 allowed. Okay, 100 kilobytes. So we can't submit this quite here, but our task on the scoreboard is to bypass the 100 kilobyte limit between 100 and 200 kilobytes. So what can we do here? Well, we can try to intercept that and make that work. So how about we try instead, let's upload under 100. Anything under 100 is fine. You can just make this is a test, and I can show you what I've put into these files here. If we go to downloads, and we just say gedit under 100 PDF. All I've got in there is this is just a test. Okay, and then if we say gedit over 100, I've got, I couldn't even tell you how many lines. 6,000 almost lines of this is just a test, so we got over the kilobyte limit. So I'm gonna copy all this, by the way, Control A, Control C. And if we ls-la here, you can see that the over 100 comes in at about 118 kilobytes. So right on the money. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over to proxy and we're gonna intercept this. And we're going to go ahead and just do a test submit forward. Did I grab an XML file? I don't think I did. We'll drop that intercept request drop. Am I on the, nope, I'm not, okay. Forward, forward, forward. Let's drop all of this. And we'll do a test submit again. Okay, here we go. So here is everything that is in the PDF. Now we can try uploading all of what I copied and pasted and firing that off and seeing if it still works. Hit forward, turn the intercept off on the rest, and you can see that the upload size of larger than 100 kilobytes has been bypassed. So all we did was just paste our value or what we wanted to have in there, and it wasn't validating. It only validated here on the upload. It didn't validate server side on, hey, are they actually uploading less than 100 kilobytes? The only validation was right here, right? So we were able to bypass that as well. And this is another form of input validation. All right, we're gonna get into XXE here. We got asked for a repeat. I can repeat. Quick repeat. We try to over 100. You can see that it says file is too large. So we can instead do the under 100 PDF, submit, get to the intercepted request. Okay, I'll send this to repeater. So in this request, here's the file name. Here are the contents of the file. Remember, all it was one line of this is just a test. I copied the contents of my over 100 PDF, paste that in here. Now this will generate over 100 kilobytes of data. Forward that off, and we're good to go. We got a 204, that's fine. So it took it, and that's how you get that. So again, the validation was here. It's not actually validating on the back end of this. It's validating right here on the file upload. So, all right, for the fun stuff. This is actually cool. So let's talk about XML external entities, and let's bring up the old PowerPoint to do so. Okay, so what is XXE? Well, I just said it. XXE stands for XML external entities. In other words, we're attacking systems that parse XML input. Now, you should probably have a pretty good guess what we're about to attack because we've just been bypassing it and you've seen XML files get uploaded. So we can abuse an entity called system, and I'll talk about this in more detail here in a minute, and we can get malicious with that. These attacks include denial of service, local file disclosure, as you're about to see, remote code execution, and more. Okay, so that is the end of that slide. Now we're gonna get hands-on. So let's open up a leaf pad. Let's chat. So remember again, for this section, you have to have the local host version of this juice shop or else it's not going to work. Okay. So here we go. So the first thing we're going to put in here, and I'm gonna write this out and we'll talk about it. So we're gonna do the XML version. Now it doesn't always require the XML version, but I always like to put it at the top. So we'll say 1.0, and then we could do encoding on this as well. To say ISO 8859-1, and we'll end that, okay? Now we're going to create what is called a root element. The root element looks like this. Not a whole lot going on. But let's say that we're giving out gifts, and we're giving out gifts for Christmas, okay? We're going to be giving out these gifts, and we need a few items for the gift. So we'll do 2, we'll say Frank, and we'll say from Heath. And then we'll say the item. I'm gonna give Frank some Pokemon cards. Okay? So I'm a nice guy. So again, we have our XML version up here. This is our metadata. Here, this gift, this is your root element. And then inside of your root element are your children. These are your children, okay? So we've got one root, the rest are children. Now, let's say that instead of just one gift that I had to give out, I have to give out a lot of gifts. Okay, we can use something called an entity. Now, if you think of an entity, you can just think of it as a variable. That's all you gotta do. Think of it as a variable. So we can say instead something along the lines of this. I'm gonna copy this. This is a completely new request. Actually, we'll just add into it. How about this? We'll add into it. We could say doc type gift, and then we can just say something along the lines of entity from Heath, and then we can close that out. Or if we want to be correct, we can close it out down here. Okay, so this right here, this doc type, this is called a DTD, document type definition. So we're declaring our entities inside of this DTD, right? So the entity that I'm declaring here is this from. So instead of saying from Heath every single time, because I know that that's going to be a set variable, we can instead say ampersand from, and then close that out with a semicolon. What's important about that too is, that should be noted, is say if we went back to, say it was Heath instead, right? Let's just space this out. Let's say instead of the from, it was Heath. Well, say we wanted to say it was from like Heath plus sign, and we'll use my wife's name, Amber, or Heath and Amber, or something like that along those lines. There are certain characters that you cannot use inside of this child, right? Or inside of any of these. You can, however, use those when you are inside of an entity, and that's how we can get abusive here. And in just a second, you're gonna see what it looks like. So for now, think of this as a placeholder that also allows us to be malicious, because we can say, hey, placeholder, we could put extra items here that we normally couldn't. Because if you imagine that we put like a bracket here, or a bracket here, we're gonna end up killing something off that we shouldn't have, right? Or breaking the rest of the syntax, and then we just break the whole document. Okay, so this is what we're calling here as our entity. Okay, now let's get malicious with this. Now I've got a few sites pulled up, and we'll copy it and we'll just talk about it. But if you just Google XXE payloads, literally Google it, this site comes up here, this GitHub, the Swiss key repo. You also have the OWASP website. Either one will work. You just open one, and we can copy what we're attacking here. Let's copy this one, and we'll talk about what we're doing. Okay. So what we're saying here is, okay, we've got our XML information. You can hear my dog squeaking away. We've got our XML version and metadata here, right? Okay, we've got our DTD right here. This is our DTD. So we got our doc type. We're declaring an element of foo and then an entity. Here's our entity of XXE. We can call this whatever we want, but we got to call it later, right? That's the whole point. So we've got an element of foo. Here's our element. We've got an entity of XXE, and we're calling XXE here. Well, we're saying, hey, call this file here. So we see file, etc password, or if this was Windows, we could say boot.ini, right? The important thing to note is we've got this thing here called system. Now, system is just a keyword that's used in an entity that lets our parser know that this is an external resource, okay? So because this resource here is external, we're gonna wanna store it inside the entity. So basically, we can run commands and pull down information is all that boils down to. So what we can do is use this and try to call back some information here. And if you wanted it to be proper, you could put it down here. We can just leave it up here as well. So let's go ahead and copy this. And I should already have a file out there. Yeah, I've got this xxe.xml. It's the same thing. Literally looks the same. Just so you guys don't think I'm crazy or anything. It just gets all pretty colored once we save it. So I've got the XXE XML. Let's go ahead and say no to this one. Got this one here. Let's go to our juice shop and the one that is the local host. And we'll go over to, if yours looks different like this one, if you just did it today like I did, it's absolutely okay. We'll go to complaint. Now remember, we can upload files here. Now we'll say test. We'll browse and we'll do all supported types. Now we'll do all files and we'll do this XML. Okay, and then let's go to the proxy, turn off this, turn on intercept again, submit that. Forward. Okay, here we go. Let's forward this to repeater and send this away. Try it again. Let's see what's happening here. Take that off. Let's try one more time on this. Well, we're failing to connect to the host. That's interesting. Burp Suite connection. Uh-oh. Oh, you know what? It would be helpful. It would be helpful if I was actually running my juice shop. Because I'm an idiot. All right. Now let's refresh. Woo. Okay. So now let's go ahead and try resending this. And see what happens. All right, it's hard to see it, but it's here. You can see, okay, an error came through via file upload, blah, 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 XML version, blah, blah, blah. You see it comes through, it declares the element of foo, declares the entity system, and then look what it grabs. It grabs the etc password file, albeit it's cut off, but it's here. You've got the root, you've got bash, etc. Okay, what else can we do with that? What is the first password right off the bat in a shadow file? It's the root, right? He sent that. Is it really going to do it? Well, if we have access, if this application is running as a sudoer or as a root level access, look what comes through. The root user and the hash. This is nasty stuff. Absolutely nasty stuff. And this is why you see this on the OWASP top 10. Now, if you want to prevent this completely, Your best bet is to disable these DTDs. Do not allow DTDs. Okay? You take away the external entities, you take away this from happening. Yes, please crack my hash. Okay, so this I gave my best attempt at explaining. However, there are much better people out there than me, and one I want to give a shout out to. That is the man, the myth, the legend, Stoke himself. Okay. He got $7,500 off of a blind XXE out of bounds. This is a very, very, very nasty fine. Okay, and yes, I did pause in a great picture of him. So, go watch this video. If you haven't seen it before, I'll link it down in the description. I will also paste it into the chat for everybody. Please go watch this video. Awesome, awesome explanation. Great, great video, great editing on top of everything else. But fantastic explanation of what bug bounty hunters are looking for and how they are pulling down these kinds of things. Okay. On top of this, there is a fantastic machine on Hack the Box. If you have VIP access, there's a machine called DevOps that has an XML external entity option. This medium write-up here is very, very fantastic. Great write-up. If I want to self-promote just a tad, I also did a write-up a very long time ago about this topic as well, though I do believe that this one is better. But you can see from this, if you wanted a quick overview, there is a file upload. It says, hey, we take XML elements of author, subject, and content. So you kind of have to write out your little XXE payload here. You have your DTD up here. You call out XXE as your entity. And you want the Etsy password file, then you have to put a body of author, subject, and content like it asks for, and just pull down this XXE. Right, so we're just calling it here, just like a variable, that's it. So when we pull it down, look what happens, we pull down the file that we wanted. Now, if you tried this with a shadow file on this user, it wouldn't work. Long story short, if you figured out the username and everything else and started digging around, you could pull down the SSH file, etc. Very good box. I do recommend trying it without actually looking at these walkthroughs. If you get stuck, definitely look at the walkthroughs. I think they're really good. But otherwise, good practice here. Good practice on Juice Shop. Even better practice if you want to try, on Hack the Box. And of course, go watch Stoke. Stoke's thing, I don't know if you guys know him very well. His thing is XXEs. Like bug bounty hunters, they like to focus on one area. They like to get good in one area. His is XXE, so he is the master of it. I will bow down completely to anything he says on that topic because he's a legend. So that is it for this lesson, guys. That's it. Sorry to all the YouTubers who had to come and visit on the Twitch side of the house, but I do appreciate you guys being here. Let me come back to reality. Thank you so much, everybody who showed up tonight, and thanks for everybody who donated, all the subs that came through, everybody on Patreon. You guys are all awesome. My phone's been blowing up, so you guys are crazy. Thanks for everybody who made awesome comments and usernames and everything else on the Juice Shop as well. Love all of you. All of you. So hopefully we reinforce concepts tonight, right? We saw cross-site scripting for a third week in a row. And we're not done with cross-site scripting. It's only going to get more complex. But we focused on DOM and reflected, and then we went stored last week, and now we went stored in an API, which is really cool. And we saw more of this input validation, UI bypassing, this broken access control, and even bypassing like the anti-automation. I think that stuff's really cool. And it's just these things that you have to start looking for. Yeah, it's kind of easy, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to show up in a real world pen test. These baby steps, you'd be very surprised what you see sometimes. And there is, like just even on the network side, there's admin on external facing Cisco equipment. Seen it before. Just because you think it's too easy to be there, don't think that. Don't ever think that, and you'll be good. So, and then the XXEs, of course. XXEs are awesome. Thank you, Dong. You are awesome, man. Ben's over here saying these are still relevant to bug bounties, and I believe it. I will bow down to his bug bounty prowess. You guys are crazy. Root beer, thanks, man. Thank you, Root beer. Thank you, Corrigo. All the subs tonight. We are moving off of a. We're moving off of the platform of points, J Delta. I know you're gonna hate me for this. We're going to do. We're going to be moving for giveaways to Discord because it's easier, I think. But I'll make sure that you you get something out of it. Hey, you never won anyway, and you gamed the system as it was, so. You guys are crazy tonight. Thank you, everybody. Also, 30,000 on the YouTubes. Thanks, you guys. Didn't actually announce that in the announcements, which is crazy. So thank you, everybody, on that as well. It's been a good week. You're gonna blow it on Heist? You guys can blow all the points you want on Heist. I can open up the stream bot. Here you go. We got a bunch of cool shit in today. A bunch. I haven't unboxed everything yet, but I did send a picture out earlier. A lot of cool Hack 5 stuff came in, and we've got some cool mice that are coming in that we're going to be giving away. So should be having some giveaways here. I'm trying to schedule the first giveaway on the 25th. I'm working hard towards it. So thank you, Tendel. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Do I have a security clearance? I do have a security clearance. It's never been required for a job. However, I'm close to landing a client because of that. They're a cleared facility and they need a cleared pen tester. So I'm close to landing a client just because of having the clearance. But I don't plan on renewing, or I don't even know how to get sponsorship since I'm on my own. So I don't know, but I still have some time left on that. You have an interview for a class, someone in the career field you want to go into. I would recommend coming into the Discord channel and asking questions if you got questions. Honestly, there's people that can honestly answer some of those questions better than I can. Or if not most of those questions better than I can. How do you get a clearance? You ask Clarence? I like it. I had a secret /L clearance when I worked for the DOE. I got my clearance through the military. What's my website? I'll put my website in. I don't do control systems. I can't send the message? Don't lie to me. There you go. Hey, thanks, Ben. Appreciate you coming by, man. Thank you for everything. Rex as in recommendation letters. I've got a few, yeah. If you need a recommendation letter. Bye, Gotti. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, for control systems? No, I don't know anybody. I could ask around. I don't know anybody off the top of my head. There you go. MTX says he knows people. The EWPT and the OSCP are different beasts. What would be your purpose for taking the EWPT before the OSCP? The OSCP has very, very minimal web app. Like what you're seeing in this class, is probably the max already of what you're going to see in the OSCP. Do I ever do pen tests for a hotel? I haven't. I would always love to. There's a hotel that I won't name that I like staying at because so they limit you on the Wi-Fi unless you're like a super whatever member or you pay the stupid money. But they also have a RJ45 jack in the room, and if you plug into that, you get like the same speeds. You get the same speeds as you would on the free Wi-Fi. But I found that there is a secondary jack behind the TV. If there's a smart TV in your room, you can unplug the cable from there and plug it into your computer, because usually they use unlimited bandwidth so that they can play like Netflix or Hulu or whatever it is. So I plug into those and I get 100 down at the, and I've been all over the country doing this trick and it works just fine. At least with the one hotel brand. I'm sure it's not the only one. The smart TVs also have the Mac on them. Yes, you're saying that the you're saying that they would actually enforce that, but sorry, I'm reading the chat and trying to speak. This particular hotel company has been breached in the last year or so. So I wouldn't be expecting much out of them. I was quiet? What do you mean I was quiet? Quiet about what? Marriott versus Hilton? I'm a Marriott fan. Clearly. Marriott has free breakfast? Where do you stay? Where the hell do you stay that Marriott doesn't give you free breakfast? Unless you're in like a big city. Get better status. Yeah. Yeah, if you're in a big city, like Chicago or something like that, is what I can think of. They don't give you free breakfast. Like downtown, just like they're saying. Yeah. PC Wizard, we have a mentor channel somewhere or another. There's a channel called Mentors. So you're more than welcome to look there. If you don't get anybody to answer back, you can also ask in general. I got 1 million messages. Okay, I'm caught up. Why do we care about the Cloudflare IP address exactly? I still can't believe YouTube broke today. Yep, main session is over. The web app's going by a lot faster, I feel like. Twitch supremacy. You know, so I tested out YouTube and I tested out Twitch. And for a minute there, I was really liking YouTube. But I think I'm coming back to Twitch as being a fan on Twitch. Thank you, Rev. I appreciate it. How long is this course going to run? Good question. At least, let's see where we're at. Let me look through the list. We are not even halfway through the list of challenges yet. So at least 4 more weeks, I would guess. 3 to 4 more weeks. And there might be some like extra stuff I throw in at the end that is maybe wasn't covered during the course. It's not the subs. Well, the subs are nice, but it's the it's honestly the base. The base, when I first started streaming on YouTube, I was impressed because I was getting like 200 viewers at a time. But like that base eventually dwindled down. I actually think the base on Twitch is still more popular than YouTube. Do I use virtual hacking labs? I don't know. I've never used virtual hacking labs, no. There's less lag on Twitch. I agree on that one as well. I am a national car rental person. I do not use Hertz. And if you're ever in Chicago, do not rent with Fox. Fox is god awful. The next course is not going to be AD. The next course is going to be Python related, I do believe. I think we're going to be taking Violent Python and converting it into Python 3 and learning some of that stuff. Any chances of doing long-range Wi-Fi breaches or man in the middle? I'm very, very nervous to do any Wi-Fi material because of the the rules. I've seen a couple of videos or known of a couple of people with Wi-Fi related videos that gotten taken down due to YouTube policy. So I'm iffy on it. Now, there are people out there that are bigger, a la Network Chuck, who just released a wireless video not that long ago, and it's still up. So, what's the deal with National? National is just so easy, man. You just grab your car and go. There's no waiting. There's no nothing. Like, you don't even need to check in with anybody. And what did I say about virtual hacking labs? I've never used them, so I would not be a good person. No. So you literally don't go to a counter. You just go get your car, exit, and then you go drop off your car. It's awesome. Fox is terrible. I got it because it was the cheapest, and then I realized when I was standing in line, like you start reading the reviews as you're in line, you're just like, yeah, the line's an hour plus wait if there's 5 people in it. And there was at least 15 people in line, so I just canceled my my reservation because there was no cancel fee, and I went to National. Am I going to be at DerbyCon this weekend? I am not. I wanted to go, could not get a ticket on initial purchase, so I did not make the accommodations. No LobbyCon for me. I know, man. I've never been to a DerbyCon, and I'll never have gone to a DerbyCon. Feels bad. Thanks, PC Wizard. The wireless bro? What wireless bro? You mean Network Chuck? Look at the video or the link that was posted just a couple people up. Somebody posted a link to the video. What drink am I drinking? This is called a Coco Loco. That is his name, Network Chuck on YouTube. That's correct. He's a Cisco guy. No, not Monster Energy drink. This is a beer, my friend. An adult beverage. It is a porter that tastes very much like a stout. Because I do not like porters generally, but this one's actually pretty good. Ginger ale is an adult beverage. This is not keto approved. I have stepped off keto. The keto plan was to do keto for a month, and I succeeded. Top 5 people sites who follow for their tweets, videos, blogs. I'll just type them. So definitely Stoke, definitely Nomsec. God, Twitter is just full of resources. It's hard to just pick like, let's see. Black Hills InfoSec is another good one. Their YouTube channel is also pretty good. She hacks purple? I don't think it's she bleeds purple. Tanya's a good resource as well. There's a lot, man. When will the next Teach My Wife session be? I don't know. Whenever we can get her in here, I'm guessing. She is back, and yes, the main lesson is over. Jason Haddock's like the OG. What are your tips for exam preparation? So, the one that I like to give out the most is for me, I like to book an exam ahead of time. So if I'm studying for something, I'll book an exam. That way I have some pressure built up on the back end to actually take a test or take the exam and not try to put it off. But honestly, I just study when I have the urge to study, take good notes, and then prep yourself. One of the most beneficial things you can do before taking an exam is to go read reviews on the exam, because sometimes there's just tiny little clues, and you start building enough tiny little clues up, you can piece together some useful information that may help you with the exam. So definitely doing research on the exam, what people reviewed it, thought about it, Definitely scheduling it ahead of time, in my opinion, is good, and make sure you take good notes. Keep note is good. Yeah, Haddix was at Carolina Con. They had some big names at Carolina Con that you really didn't realize. Like Hyperion Grey was there. Like Chloe was there. Chloe's no longer with them, with Bug Crowd, but I was there, of course. But you got to stay humble. We'll do the 5-minute clock here. 5-minute clock, kind of like 6 minutes, but I can't say her last name. I don't know how to say her last name. Yeah, I don't know where my badges are, or else I would flaunt them. I will upload this to YouTube right after. Boom. There you go. There's a link. I don't think Philip was there, no. Yeah, I don't know if she quit or if she was on like a term as an ambassador. I don't know how that works. Yeah, I honestly don't follow a lot of people on Twitter, and the majority of people that I follow on Twitter are less known or just like friends or, like just everyday normal people. Because when you have too many people that you follow, I feel like it can get really noisy. Like somebody said, I don't want my Twitter feed so full that I don't know what's going on. And I feel like the people that have 5,000 people they follow, I don't know how they keep up with the news, honestly. Yeah, I've never met Philip. He seems like a nice guy, though. We were just talking the other day, actually. He's a really nice guy. Hey, thanks, Burnt Toast. Thank you, sir. He reminds you of Spicoli? I don't think so. I don't. He's not as airheaded, I don't believe. We ending at 9:30 or 10? We're ending at 9:30. 9:30. But you're welcome to chat afterwards in the Discord if you'd like. I'll be around, I'm sure. No stream next week. You got it. No stream. No stream the week after. At least no web app stream the week after. If we stream, it's going to be random. Maybe we'll live stream some Hack the Box, or we'll live stream some, I don't know, some pen testing for noobs or something. I'm killing you, man. I'm sorry. I've got to travel. Travel waits for nobody. Yes, sir. Thank you, thank you. I've got the majority of the next episode recorded. I have to I've got to figure that one out. I'm not done with it yet. You've got Alexa set up for alarms? That's doing the most, my friend. I'm space cadetting tonight. I'm on little sleep, but I'm always on little sleep, so that's not surprising to anybody. I will try to stream next week. Maybe I can stream on Tuesday or do something special on Tuesday. I'll have to see. Apparently, my wife's friend wants to go see some YouTuber talk or something like that, so they might go see some YouTuber. But they could see one right here. But apparently not. I'm not cool enough. I don't have 200,000 followers. I don't think she wants to learn about buffer overflows, if I'm being honest. Yeah, there's the VIP boxes are cheap right now, and the Pen Testing for Noob series, the whole plan of it was for it to crescendo and for it to just escalate very, very calmly into some fun, complicated stuff. The only issue is, like, the Pen Testing for Noob series, I wanted to keep it as realistic as possible, at least in the attacks and how we would focus on some things, but some of the boxes are so, I don't know, capture the flag like that it becomes difficult, especially the more difficult the box, because it's really easy to say, yeah, this is a quick pop, and even though you're not going to probably see this ever in the wild, you might see something similar to it, but there's situations where you're just never going to see some of the things that you see on Hack the Box, even on the easy boxes. We'll have to build some of our own machines at some point. That'd be fun. Hack the Box is good for, look, it's good for methodology. It's good for learning some of the, like the box I showed earlier, the dev oops, fantastic box, right? Because it's very capture the flag like, but you still get to learn about XXE in the process. So that's where I think Hack the Box has some nice things. You get to learn one-offs about situations. They don't tend to apply them to realistic situations a lot of the times, and that's what's unfortunate. But it's good prep work for a lot of the exams that are all methodology based. But I mean, ideally you gotta even doing offshore and the pro labs, yes, there's realism there, but in order to get to the realistic point, there's a lot of like capture the flag stuff in between. So even though it's an Active Directory based lab, there's a lot of capture the flag stuff in between. And I just want a real environment, just like one you would see every single day in a network. And those are hard to come across. How many machines have I rooted? Honestly, I have no idea. On the active side, I think maybe like 17 to 20. I pretty much live on the VIP side. I don't do the active machines anymore. It's just not like I can spend my time doing other things. And benefit more than doing Hack the Box. Hack the Box to me is like a game. It's easier on the VIP side because I can use that for training. I can use that for videos. I can really pick and choose the boxes that are realistic and attempt those. Yeah, I was thinking about doing over the wire walkthroughs. They've got the one for web app that actually is kind of decent. The Nala or whatever it's called. I don't remember. Any plans to do a class on how to drum up pen testing business? I don't know if anybody wants to buy that class from me quite yet. But yes, there is the pen testing for noobs, or not pen testing for noobs, sorry, the entrepreneurial series. So the next episode for that's coming. I have been waiting and waiting and waiting on a client before I release the next video, because I feel like the second I release that video, I'm going to have to release another one because the other client. But I've got some really good talking points on the next one, especially from the lessons I learned in the situation that happened last week where I lost out on a client. So I took that. I stayed up all night over that too. So I got a lot to talk about on that topic. And it'll be a little different. It won't be like, here's my books, here's my, here's what I've been doing in whatever. It's going to be more of just lessons learned and how you can improve from some of the fuck ups I make. So I love Server 2008. I also love 6-character password minimums. Those are good. Dude, Server 2008's everywhere. Thank you, Far Advance. I appreciate it. What Hack the Box VMs are closer to real environments? So if you drive down into the box on Hack the Box, you can see where it says realistic. It has CTF-like, realistic, CVE, etc. So my recommendation is to click into some of those boxes and see which ones are towards the realism side. My favorite, most realistic box, I think, would be active. I think honestly, I'm done. I'm probably done streaming on YouTube. I think we're gonna just stay on Twitch. I've had way too many issues with the whole Twitch situation, or the whole restream situation. So I'll probably move back over to Twitch and just call it a day. Technically, I'm not supposed to be doing both anyway. But I think this was the restream is causing a lot of issues, and YouTube quality is having issues. The quality, I hate to say this, the quality of people on YouTube can be tiresome sometimes. But I don't know, Twitch is just a more steady growing fan base where I've been with you guys forever, and it's kind of like we have this intimate bond. Is there something against doing both? You're not supposed to, especially as a partner. Now, I'm not a partner. As a partner, you are not supposed to stream outside of Twitch. Now, YouTube doesn't care. A lot of the platforms don't care. But Twitch doesn't go after, like, lower people like me. They go after the bigger fish. But if I became a partner, I could not stream to multiple. So, yeah, policy stuff. I don't I don't ever know if I'll make partner, only because I don't. I like to stream stupid stuff sometimes, like Overwatch, and 5 people will watch me and we'll chat and have a good time. So that really kills the numbers. Otherwise, I think we would average out and make partner status. Am I still going to put my videos on YouTube? Yeah. YouTube is my base. YouTube is still my base. So the videos will definitely stay up there. They don't stay here very long anyway. Twitch deletes after 60 days or something. What's my difference between a hacker and a script kiddie? Honestly, a hacker and a script kiddie could end up using the same tools. The difference between the hacker and the script kiddie is the script kiddie is firing off that tool without having any knowledge of what they're doing. A hacker can understand, at least read the code or read what's going on in the code and know what they're doing. They're making a best judgment. They're not just picking and firing. And I think that's really what sets people apart. Because you could use the same tools and you can blindly fire and get lucky as well. Doesn't mean you know what you're doing. Enjoy the US Open, my friend. I'm right behind you. You guys already have me 10 minutes past my my to-go time. I'll extend it 5 more minutes because I like talking. But I am out of beer. Bye, MTX. How many years have I been in security? Not very long. How do you subscribe? If you have an Amazon Prime account, subscribing is free. Otherwise, you have to hit the little gift in the upper corner or the little subscribe button. Can I convince my wife to do a teach my husband property management video? I will ask her. She does a lot of teaching me on the side. I actually know quite a bit more than I think I ever need to know. Honestly. Thank you, Dong. I appreciate that, man. Bye, Corey. Bye, Joe. What days do I stream? Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern. However, the occasional random stream as well. You have no idea how to subscribe. Upper right corner, my friend. Bye, Devil Dog. Thank you again so much for the donation, man. $50, you're crazy. But I do appreciate it. I really do. Look, MTX, I'm going to learn you. You come over here. There's this wonderful subscribe button. And you say, hey, subscribe. Or if you've got if you've got Twitch Prime, it's free. You don't have that. I don't know what to tell you then. Oh, that's why you don't have it, because you're already a sub. That makes sense. Do I get the same amount? Yes, I get the same amount. Regardless if you use Twitch or not. Now, if you sub on... Oh, gosh. Oh, thank you, SL Midnight. I appreciate it. If you do like a... I don't know. They have tiered subs. Like if you do greater than a tier 1, I get a little bit more. I don't remember what it is. I think it's 50%, something like that. So Well, thanks, MTX. It's the thought that counts, my friend. But Dong has pretty much purchased gifts for everybody here. What gives the most direct? Gosh. Honestly, probably a donation is the most, because you lose out in PayPal fees. Everything takes money. You lose out in PayPal fees with that, but I think the fees are less. The Twitch subs are 50%, and then Patreon even takes money too. So I don't, either Patreon or like a one-time donation. Patreon's a monthly donation thing. There's the one-time donations, and then there's the Patreon's a monthly thing. You can get me a bottle of vodka? My wife would love you, honestly. And we're cheap vodka people. We drink New Amsterdam, which is dirt cheap. Yeah, I gotta make cooler stickers. All I've got right now that I can give away are these ones. I gotta make some more stickers. That's it. So these were like the OG stickers I had printed. I'm a Cali person as well. I want to get some nice, like, clear cutouts of my head or something stupid along those lines. You're gonna get me a bottle of Goose? I'm telling you, man, I'm cheap. You don't even have to buy Goose. You know that, oh gosh, I'm pretty sure that vodka has the same, like, a strict regulation where 99.99% are the same thing. So they're all like potato based or whatever the regulation is. I don't know where I heard this from, and I could be making shit up. But in a taste test, the Costco, whatever brand that is, Kirkland's brand, has actually beaten Grey Goose and all of those. How to get sticker? The only place I send these stickers out right now are on Patreon. But eventually I'll come up with other ways. Now I got the merch stickers, but I haven't even started linking the merch or anything like that. So, and the one-time donations on here too. Sorry, I don't try to ask for money, but since you're asking, MTX, if you come here under donate, it's under one-time donation. And then I don't even have a link to my merch store or anything, but there's stickers on there. They're cooler, I honestly think. Is it possible to enumerate all subdomains? Yeah, that was Spyro, wasn't it? It's not brute forcing. It's usually looking up through Google searching or other search engines to find those subdomains. So we covered that in episode 1, but Namsec has some really good videos out on looking up subdomains as well. How would you start a cybersecurity carrier? I would ask the Navy that question. But in reality, Google is probably the best place for that. I would honestly, you got to figure out where you want to be when you grow up, or what you want to be when you grow up. So, I don't know if, I'm sure I get taxed on everything. Everything's taxes, man. Everything. But yeah, when you figure out what you want to be, then start searching job postings for those. And then you look at the tools and the certifications and the education or whatever they want, and that'll help you out with where to start and where to go from there. What's my SSID? It's totally pretty fly for a Wi-Fi, because I'm a douche. if I'm being realistic. All right, 2-minute warning. You guys kept me again. I need bedtime. Reverse engineer the job posting? I like that. I'm going to steal that one. You need 5 minutes. I've been here for 2 hours. I don't ever participate on Stack Overflow. I would say that my participation ratio to stealing from ratio is pretty disproportionate. What are you trying to be when you grow up, Dong? CCNA, obviously, because you just did the CCENT, right? So Red Hat and then CISSP. Blue team. So are your control systems going to be Cisco related? Okay. I don't know much about the cyber ops. That might be something to look into. I'm guessing they have SOC analysts for control systems. Again, being upfront, I don't know much about control systems. Not my realm. But I would guess that these control systems communicate over traps of some sort, right? Or some sort of network communication that can come back to still the same tools that we use. I would say learning something like Splunk would be helpful, like a tool, a blue team tool. Oh, is it TCP routed? See, I don't even know. What's the best route to get into red teaming? Like actual red teaming? You got to put some time in on the pen test side. Probably be pretty good at OSINT, be willing to travel a lot. And know, I would say, advanced tactics in order to be quiet once you're actually in on a network are my recommendations. You're a Python user? Python will absolutely help you in cybersecurity. I don't think so, MTX. I don't know, though. Honestly. Have I used Security Onion VMs? No. I haven't. They want to charge you $5.99 a month? I have no idea, man. I would say don't even waste your money. Don't. It's not worth it. You don't have to donate anything, my friend. I've seen the recently actually. I saw the creator of Security Onion give a keynote. He was actually pretty good. Good speaker. What's my favorite programming language? It is definitely Python. Or Bash, if you want to count that as a programming language. I'm basic. Very, very basic. No, Ruby's not my thing. All right, this is my last one. So route of certs, and then I'll probably be done since it's already 25 minutes past. So let's see if I can rally these off really fast. A+, Net+, Security+, Linux+, CEH, CCNA, OSCP, OSWP, EWPT, Pentest Plus. I think I snuck that in there somewhere. Then there's a Thycotic certification, a couple of CyberArk certifications, and I feel like I'm missing one as well. So, but that's it for me. You got me talking for way longer than expected, but I love all of you. Thank you, everybody. Again, thanks for the donations. Thanks for all the subs. Thank you, Dong, for the gifted subs. You are a very, very kind person. Thank you, everybody. So I will be seeing you guys. If I don't see you next week or the week after, for sure on the 25th, I will definitely try to stream before then, sometime in between. Stay on alert. I will notify the Discord channel, so stay on alert. But thank you, everybody. I'll be uploading this to YouTube very shortly. So I will see you guys later.